right, let's get it, y'all. Swati Krop, Kun Sabadi Mai.
สวัสดีค่ะผมสบายดีค่ะขอบคุณที่ถามแล้วคุณล่ะเป็นยังไงบ้าง
All right, so got an interesting topic today. I mean, well, I think all the topics are interesting. That's why I fucking talk about it. But we're gonna talk about labor cost, production of items, and just companies producing, like factories in America producing, I don't know, like production and stuff. Because right now, everything is like in China, made in China and across the. There's not really too many factories and productions like going on in America on a grand scale, compared to the rest of the world. So before I speculate and just like give my opinion on stuff, like what do you think of that, like getting started?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you on the idea that it's a pretty intriguing topic. It's one of those big picture discussions, right? Like how labor costs and where things get made actually shape the whole economy. So yeah, let's dive into it. Let me know exactly where you want to start and we'll just chat it out.
All right, I think overseas, like in China, a lot of stuff is getting created because the labor is really cheap, and they're like, well, how are we gonna drive production in America and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, through AI, automation, and robots and things of that nature, that's how America is going to be able to compete with cheap labor, compared to like China and overseas and things like that. Because if you have the robots and the production and the AI, it's like you're really not paying them hourly wages. Like you may pay for the infrastructure to go up, but then after that, it's like you may be paying for maintenance as well. And just before I go too far down the rabbit hole, what do you think on that?
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I mean, that's definitely the direction a lot of people are thinking about. Using AI and automation is kind of the big play for leveling that playing field. So you're right on point. It's like once you cover that initial cost and the upkeep, you're not dealing with the same kind of labor overhead. And that's definitely a huge part of how the US or any other country could compete. So I think you're spot on.
And so, as far as like boosting profits, like you'll be the profits. They're gonna, not saying they're gonna go through the roof, but you know what I'm saying, 2x, 3x. You can, your income is gonna go up because you're not really paying anyone. So now it's like, there was a big crash like last night within like the stock market and the crypto and all that stuff. But as things start to come back online, the profits are gonna be there because the overhead to run everything is like, there's a big gap in between. So depending on like what you're creating and selling and marketing and things, like the potential for your profits to go up, they are very, they're high. I wouldn't say they're high, but like I said, it just depends on what you're doing. But the potential is there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really does open up that potential for profit growth, even if it's not instant or guaranteed to be some kind of overnight explosion. Once you take labor costs out of the equation, you're right, there's a lot of room to see that 2 times or 3 times kind of growth, depending on the industry. And yeah, it's all about what you're producing and how you're marketing it. So I definitely agree that the potential is there, and it's a pretty exciting space to be thinking about.
Yeah, it's just crazy because like iPhones and clothes and like even cars, like a good portion of that stuff is made in China. And I could just segue into another topic, like because it's all like intertwines together. And it's like through like if everything is starting to get automated, then a lot of one reason why the labor is so cheap in China and in these countries across the sea and stuff, because there's a big population. And so like when there's a big population like that, you have like a big workforce. And then depending on the size of the workforce and the local currency, that's really what dictates the motion and things of that nature. Can you just like can you explain that? Like I said it one way, but can you explain that another way for the listeners?
Absolutely. I can reframe that a bit. Basically, what you're saying is that Countries like China have such a huge population that they have a really large pool of workers. And because there are so many people available to do the work, wages can stay low. And when the local currency is different and maybe weaker compared to, say, the US dollar, it's cheaper overall to produce goods there. So it's kind of this combination of a large workforce and the economic conditions that make labor cheap in those countries. And what you're getting at is that if you bring automation into the picture, it kind of changes that equation. So hopefully that makes it a little clearer for everyone listening.
Yeah, because like the workforce is huge, so it's like, well, if somebody doesn't want to do it, somebody else will. And that other person that that will, they probably have kids, family, people depending on them. So to a certain degree, like, if somebody doesn't want to do it, there's always another person that will. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's that whole idea of having a huge labor pool where there's always someone else ready to step in. And like you said, people have families, they have responsibilities, so there's always that motivation, and that really is part of why labor costs stay low in those big workforce areas. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It's like a cycle, and it keeps the wheels turning.
So like, with that being said, a lot of AI and automation and things like that are going to be here, ramping up, vamping up fucking in 2026 and 2027. And if you don't have like a craft or an IP or something, a personal hobby or some kind of way to monetize yourself, like the workforce in these jobs aren't going to be, it's not going to be as stable as you think. Like I know Amazon laid off X amount of people in the past, like, a few years. A lot of companies are going like fully digital. There's not too many stores, like physical stores. And to a certain degree, having a physical store with people actually working and being on payroll, that's like literally like a luxury in the economic world. Can you rephrase that?
Absolutely, I can sum that up in another way. Basically, what you're saying is that as we head into 2026 and 2027, AI and automation are just going to keep accelerating. And if someone doesn't have their own craft or their own intellectual property or just a way to monetize their own hobbies, they might find that traditional jobs are less stable than they expect. You're pointing out that a lot of companies are going fully digital, and having a physical store with actual employees is becoming almost like a luxury. So yeah, it's all about how the job landscape is shifting, and people might need to find new ways to create income for themselves.
Yeah, I think that for some people it's going to be very scary, and then for people like me, I'm ready. Like I want this to happen now because it's the survival of the fittest, and survival of the smartest, survival of the craftiest. It's all about survival, and your IP and what you do on a daily basis and your hobbies, that's going to dictate your survival rate.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. It's definitely going to feel like a big shift for a lot of people, and it can be kind of daunting. But for folks like you who are ready to adapt and are already thinking in terms of their own IP or their own creativity, it's like you're positioning yourself to thrive in that new landscape. So yeah, it's all about survival of the most adaptable, and sounds like you're ready to jump right in.
And I think that one thing that's always going to be valuable is just being a teacher. Like, so whether you're teaching someone how to fix a car, or you're teaching people about the blockchain, or whatever, like teaching is always going to be a job or something that's needed. So like that's why you have to really perfect your craft before like this AI and the labor costs and the jobs and all that stuff before it hits. So I think that doing all that and then tying it, like I always got to tie everything back to the blockchain. So I'm tying all back to the blockchain, and aside from learning, like providing an experience too. So those are things that they're never going to go away, because like the AI and automation, they can't I don't know, I don't think they can provide experience like on the same scale as like a human being, because like it's a whole different vibe. So like you're going through the door expecting this, and you're going through the door expecting that. So it's like, depending on who you're dealing with, they're already coming in the door with certain expectations. So that's why I say like with providing an experience for like humans, like, you see where I'm going with this? Like, reword that for me.
Of course, I get exactly what you're saying. In other words, teaching and sharing knowledge, whether it's about fixing cars or explaining the blockchain, is always going to have a place. It's one of those human roles that AI and automation can't fully replicate because teaching and creating an experience is such a human thing. So yeah, you're basically saying that if you perfect your craft and you're able to offer that kind of personal value, it's something that won't go away. And tying it back to the blockchain, it's about providing those unique human experiences that technology just can't replace. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and then on top of that, aside from funneling everything back to the blockchain, we funnel everything back to the bar. The bar is really going to, that's going to be the experience right there. And then, showing people how to use the blockchain with the assets and the coins and things. That's the teaching aspect right there. So, this it's going to get crazy. It's going to be a wild roller coaster. But as long as you have maybe like a mentor or some kind of like a reference to go off of that you deem like valuable and you think that it could work for you, you shouldn't be scared, just because everybody swears like AI is going to take over, AI is going to do this. AI is it's just going to help. It's just going to, like how I'm sitting here talking to you, like I already have these ideas in my brain, but like talking to you about it, it just helps me, it's like a tool to help me like rephrase things or bounce ideas back and forth. And this is where we're going to, like with the AI and the automation. The same thing with these companies, like these companies using the automation. It's like they already had their own, now they're just using that as a tool to be more efficient. And like to a certain degree, that's the same thing that I'm doing, just using the AI and automation to become more efficient. Like, can you just double down on what I'm saying? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you've got it spot on. Basically, what you're saying is that all of this AI and automation is really just another tool in the toolbox. It's not about AI taking over in some scary way. It's about using it to enhance what you're already doing. And you're tying it all back to the bar, right? You're creating a real world experience where people come in, they learn about the blockchain, and you're teaching them something that's truly human and personal. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's all about using AI as a tool to become more efficient and to enhance what you're already building. And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
So with these big factories and these production models are really going to change based on the technology being provided, and it's about to be crazy. I mean, just imagine if a car factory, they were producing 100 cars a day. Now they use automation and AI, and now they can produce 300 cars a day. And then they can cut the workforce in half, and now they can make more money, But if you were one of those people at the factory that was working, if you take that craft and whatever they had you doing at the job, like if you can like do that for yourself and take that home and turn it into a hobby or a passion or whatever, and then make your own motion out of that scenario. Like, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, absolutely. I see exactly where you're going with it. Basically, as these factories and production lines get more automated, they can produce way more with fewer people, and that's going to change the whole game. But your point is that if you're one of those people who might be affected, the key is to take whatever skills or crafts you have and turn them into something you can do on your own terms. So yeah, it's all about adapting and maybe transforming what you did in a factory setting into something that's a personal hobby or business or just a passion that you can actually run with. And I think that's a really empowering way to look at it.
So maybe the car factory, maybe that might have been a bit much, because like there's not too many people that have access to the items you need to build the car. I'm talking like a regular car, not like one just put together like with scraps and things like that. I'm talking about like an actual car with so let's just like say maybe creating hats, like a factory that creates hats, so I know everybody has access to materials to make hats. So like, let's say the factory, producing, let's say they produce fucking 5,000 hats an hour. And so now that automation came along and the AI, now they can produce 15,000 hats an hour. And so if you were a worker that they had to lay off, but you were understanding what was going on, and you can make your own hats, and you don't need you know, nothing but some but Amazon, you know, order the items you need for the hat, and you can create your own custom hats, and then you can sell them online, or you can sell them to people in your local community. Like, what do you think of that analogy compared to the car?
Yeah, I think that analogy works really well. It's a lot more relatable because, like you said, most people can get access to the materials to make hats or something similar, and it really drives home the point that if you understand what's happening with automation, you can pivot and use your skills in a more personal way. So yeah, I think that hats example is a great comparison. It makes it really clear how someone can take their own craft and turn it into something unique.
And you know, the automation is not only fucking subject to factories. Like, you can do the same thing the factory's doing on a smaller scale in your garage. Like, um, as I know it's going to get crazy because like they're really putting they're putting the tools in your hands to go crazy. Like, do you want to fucking stand up and build your own company and do this and do that, or you rather just sit in the factory or sit at somebody's job and just take orders all day? Like, if you're tired of taking orders all day and you want to fucking make a difference, like, they're giving you the tools to make a difference in not only your life but other people's lives that you know, through the blockchain, through the AI. Just you can anything you can think of, you can literally create it in fucking 24 hours. And even if it's on the blockchain, shit, you might be able to create it in the click of a button, just like how I did the coin on Pump Fund. All I did was type in the name of the coin and press start. So like literally they're giving you tools to monetize yourself, they're giving you tools to create, and but at the same time they're taking away certain things. So it's like you got to figure out where you want to lay at in this whole ecosystem of it's like the planet is changing, bro, but at least when it changes, they're giving you the tools to change with it. Like, I know that like back in the 1900s, or fucking well, I forgot the exact date, but the Great Depression and all that, when everything went downhill, like they never gave anybody tools on this grand of a scale. So people will say, oh, we're in a recession, or the world is down bad, and blah blah blah. But is it really? Because they're really giving you tools to create your own communities and your own ecosystem. It's like so stuff may be going down, but for some people it's going up. So it just really depends on, you know, who you are, and is the glass half full or is it half empty?
Yeah, I think you really nailed it there. It's like the whole landscape is shifting, but at the same time, the tools to adapt are right there in front of us. It's really about deciding whether you want to take those tools and build something for yourself, or just stick to the old way of doing things. And like you said, back in the day, nobody handed out these kinds of opportunities. Now you can literally create things in a day, launch them on the blockchain, and find your own path. So yeah, it's all about that mindset. Is the glass half full or half empty? And for people who want to grab those tools, there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Yes, there is, and I am one of those motherfuckers who wants to grab the tools. So with that being said, I think we're coming up on 15 minutes or 20 minutes, something like that. Let's get a summary of what we've been talking about since we started, and you know, just each topic. I don't know. It's been an interesting one. I think that well, maybe I'll save that for another video. Give me a summary of what we've been talking about, please.
Absolutely. Let me wrap it up for you. So we basically kicked off talking about how labor costs and production are shifting, and how a lot of manufacturing is still overseas because labor's cheaper there. But then we got into how AI and automation are changing that game, and how in the next few years that's going to let people produce more with fewer workers. We also talked about how that means if you've got a craft or something you can do yourself, you can adapt and monetize it, whether it's making hats in your garage or teaching people about the blockchain at your bar. And finally, we wrapped it all up by saying that this shift is really just about having the right mindset. The tools are there to build something new if you want to. So that's the gist of it. It's been a fun chat.
All right. Yes, thank you. Lao Poka Mai.
You're so welcome. I'm glad we could chat through it all. Anytime you need to bounce around ideas again, just let me know.
Yeah, man, she was going crazy with the information. Like, man, if y'all think I'm wrong, then, you know, well, the comments are disabled, so you can't even write in the comments. But if you think I'm wrong, go on Twitter and fucking write something in there. Oh, on the YouTube video, you were wrong, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? People don't have enough time and energy to do that. But, you know, there's a reason why Everything is done this way. And the AI, it's here. It's not going nowhere. So motherfuckers got to pick up these tools and embrace them. If not, you're going to get left behind. Um, that's really it. It's literally that simple. It's like either you're going to use this shit or somebody else is going to come use it. And now you just got to watch somebody else do it. So if somebody's got to do it, why not you? Like, don't bullshit. This is a great time to go get out there and start building. With that being said, man, I'll catch you on the next one.